Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of Post Fight. And in this edition of Post Fight, I'll be doing Post Fight UFC Fight Night Dawson versus Green. So for this card, I went 6-4 in one because one fight was supposed to be on the card, but same day, the day of the fight got canceled or pulled away. Quenley versus Lens, but it is what it is. It was just end up being 11 fights, 10 fights. And I won 60%. I won 6-4, 6 of 10, and improvement from the negative I had last week. Yeah, that was a terrible week, but a decent bounce back. Is it good? Not really, but decent bounce back, and something you can build momentum up. And I guess considering how many dogs bit on this card and how volatile it was, and a lot of stuff going on, I think it was okay. So, but something to build on. As long as you're in the pluses, that's where it's good at. You want to stay in the plus. And yes, it's a good building point. But as the theme of this video goes, or these videos goes, let's get to it. Let's see focus on the L's and see if there's anything I could do to improve upon them, or just document them or talk about them. I feel like a lot of talking more so than really finding flaws in necessarily the picks for the L's that were on this card. It's some that you could probably take some lessons from, but other ones like mostly not. So first L was Johnny Munoz Jr. versus Ari Queenling. And first off, I'm gonna say both of these guys are terrible, and both are easy fade material. Where I feel like I could have improved on this one with Johnny Munoz Jr. here is maybe just look at his last fight prior to that one, and that see how he reacts to pressure and how he reacts to getting tagged. I thought it was the level of competition he was fighting that caused him to fail like that in the last fight, but maybe it's not even a case of level competition. Maybe he just does not deal well with a guy who's going to come forward and impress him. And even then, it's still kind of dumb. Like he went out there and had a good first round. He hurt Ari Queen pretty easily and pretty early in that first round. Did what he wanted to him in the first round outside of finishing him. Had him close in a couple. Will set up some submissions pretty well. This didn't probably really get the space or the time he needed to really submit him. But he looked real good in the first round. In the second round, it was like 30 seconds to the first round, like he's backing up. I don't think he really got hit with nothing real flush. Be all like complaining to the ref, and he's all straddling the kick. Like his brain just exploded. I don't know what happened to him. Like, is he complaining about a headbutt? Is he complaining about eye poke? Either way, you're not doing it the right way. Like you just looking lost. Yeah, you already clearly won the first round. Could even, some judges would say that's a 10-8. I don't agree, but judges be judging. So, but pretty clear round. Like it was one-sided first round. And then all you need is one more round. And then it's like you just like what happened? So it's like, is that really a blunder as far as a bad pick? Not really. It's just like you gotta really like jot that down to fight or error. They're humans at the end of the day. They're gonna make poor fight IQ do things. The guy could be going there with a guy who has no BJJ skills, and this other person like a BJJ world champion with amazing wrestling and all this stuff, like all the things they need to do to exploit this guy who has no takedown offense and no jiu-jitsu. Then he goes out there and decides to strike. Is that every other fight, all 20 fights, he's 20, all his fights off submission. And this fight, he decides to strike and he gets knocked out in like the first 2 minutes. Like the takedowns are there, but he don't go for them. Like literally, the guy falls on the ground, trips and stumbles, and he don't go for it. Multiple times, he don't go for it. Is that really a bad pick, or is that just a fighter error? That's fighter error. I'm gonna jot this down to fighter error. Like he literally had a clear, good first round. All he needed to do was maybe use his footwork, bounce around, circle the cage a little bit, drain some time of the clock, throw overhand maybe, or let Ari Queenling come forward. That's what we love to do. Throw a couple feints or something, let him overcommit, and then go for a blast double, and then like to try to hold on to him and stomp his toes and slap his kneecap a little bit, and just get one of those rounds like that, and you will win. Like I don't know, I think he would try to go for a submission or something. He spent the whole time on the bottom, and even when Ari Queenling was trying to let him up, he would stand down. Like, what is going on with you, dude? Ari Queenling was like, "Are you betting against yourself?" I think he was thinking that at some point, like, "Are you betting against yourself? What's going on?" He was looking at him confused, like, I'm standing away from the dude. Why is he still on the ground? I didn't hit him hard. Like, does he not want to win? And I think that's what everybody was thinking. Like, the guy literally won the first round clear, had a very easy path to victory, and he just chose to not dink at all. He chose to do the opposite of dinking. He chose to fail. So dumb fight. Both of these guys are easy fade material. Both of these guys don't belong in the UFC. That's I guess only I kind of point to is that he doesn't deal with pressure. Like when he gets hit, his fight IQ just drops to -0. I mean -100 or whatever. Next one, fade both of those guys. They both suck. Like you know, whatever. I mean, I don't even put too much thought to it. Well, the second one was Kanako Murata versus Vanessa Demopoulos, and I won low confidence here, so yeah, no real investment here at all in this fight, especially not on Murata's side. I think I put one little quarter unit on submission for Vanessa Demopoulos, but then I didn't put nothing on Murata. But I did pick Murata to win as far as prediction wise, and I feel she won the fight to be honest. And I feel the way you typically go by based on MMA judging or the judging that we have seen in the UFC and other major MMA organizations, you would say it was a clear win for Kanako Murata. Like I would say second and third round were pretty clear. I feel like she took her down and she was dropping those hammer fists, even though they weren't the most effective ground and pound. Like it was enough. She was in top position. Vanessa Demopoulos was able to go for no submission. She was kind of doing some little ground up, some elbows from bottom, but Murata was on top, and I felt she threw just as much like strikes in that round, and she was in top position, on those hammer fists. So I feel like they were equal, and Murata was on top. So Murata round in the third round, I feel like Murata was landing heavier ground and pound in that third round. Was bobbling her head off the ground of Demopoulos. So I feel like it was a clear win for Murata, but the judges gonna be inconsistent when they want to be inconsistent. So they like, hey, we want to be inconsistent, so we're gonna give it to Demopoulos. Demopoulos fought a good fight, but I feel she clearly lost. I understand if the judging was more consistent, but based on how, which is far more consistent for the way, the far more consistent way that judges chooses to. I don't know why I can't speak English. Maybe because it's like 1 a.m. and I'm trying to make this video before I go to bed. Maybe that's why. But based on how judges usually judge in MMA in major MMA organizations, Murata will win like 9.9 times out of 10. But this is just math, head canon math. But yeah, it is what it is. I ain't put no major investment in that, so I ain't mad at it at all. But I would definitely have preferred to be 7 and 3, 70% than 60%. But hey, it's the BS. Third L was Nate Maness versus Mantanka. And I picked Mantanka. Mantanka lost. I picked Mantanka. He lost. I went low confidence. I feel like this could be I forget the name. But it's always a fighter, similar situation who's getting unnecessarily hyped just because they're going in with a fighter who people just don't feel is that good. Like in Nate Maness, people didn't feel he was that good. I didn't feel he was that good. But I also didn't feel like this 3-4 weeks ago or last month or 2 months ago, it was a similar fighter who was, pretty getting hyped because they fought this other fighter. Like they hadn't got a win in the UFC. They got a win on Contender Series or a win here or a win there. But as far as the UFC, they're just being boosted because the other fighter is not supposed to be good. And they did okay against another fighter, but they lost. So it's like, you did okay in your last fight, but you lost. And you're getting this hype against me because people think I'm a scrub. And it's starting to be a pattern where a lot of times those guys are coming up big short. And Mantanka came up big short. And probably the lowest fight IQ I've seen all year in MMA. Like, you start off pretty well. You were throwing some shots. It was like Maness was reacting to them heavy. Like he was scared of your power. Or he was respecting your power. He was getting moved by your shots, moved by your kicks. And then you try to go for a takedown like you would have wanted to hit with these big shots or swung on with these big shots. And then start going desperado for the takedown. And then go desperado for the leg locks and the ankle locks and submissions, which left you open to the ground and pound and ultimately got you finished. It's like extremely low fight IQ. It like he was trying, somebody paid him off or he bet against himself. It was like some extremely low fight IQ. And I guess where you can learn from this one or what could have been, looked at before is that he does get a bit aggressive with his takedown attempts. And not to that extent. And Nate Maness does have solid takedown defense. He might not be the most amazing fighter, but he does have some pretty good takedown defense or some decent takedown defense. He is a well-rounded fighter. It is tough. So you really got to come with your game to beat him. Like he's not the best fighter, but you got to come with your striking setup, your wrestling setup, your grappling setup, or just at least with some solid skill set. You can't just come in there just swinging for the fences and hoping to beat him. You can't come in there just hoping to just go for easy takedown and finish him unless you are like some elite, truly elite wrestler, which Mandanka is not, or some truly elite grappler, which Mandanka is not. And he just fought an extremely stupid fight. And again, it was some of the worst fight IQ, matter of fact, the worst fight IQ I've seen all year in any combat sport, to be honest. Like that was extremely stupid how he fought. And I would jot that down to fighter era, fighter era, but error, like ERROR, fighter error, instead of like capper error. Like these, like you could pick a decent fighter or pick a predict a fight, pretty spot on. But if fighter wants to choose to be stupid or make bad decisions or just not think, at the end of the day, what can you do about that? That's beyond your study, beyond your control. And that's what I feel in the Munoz fight and I feel in the Mandanka fight. But yeah, those the what 3 L's, and the final L was Bobby Green. Well, Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green. And all I can really say is good win for Bobby Green. He went out there and did what he needed to do. The fight didn't really play out too much to really say, oh, Bobby Green is coming along now. Like he's 37 years old, but he's about to come over here and like he's so evolved so much he's gonna take over the division. Not really. He filled him out pretty well. That was when he, probably should had his best chance to finish him. In the fresh, especially first round, but probably first 3 rounds, he definitely had a clear striking advantage, and he took advantage of that. Grant Dawson was able to really set up no takedowns. The fight was still very fresh, and Bobby Green got him out of there before the fight could really start to, develop. But by no means luck. He set him up, he landed, and put him out. He didn't hope and pray. He set him up and connected on his target. And that's what it was. He landed clean, put him out, and that's all she wrote. Again, as far as Bobby Green, as far as going forward with him, it would have been much more impressive, and you could really pinpoint growth or oh, this guy's ready. If it was a longer fight, he was stuffing the takedowns, picking them apart, maybe mixing his own takedowns, maybe submitting him like he submitted Tony Ferguson or something. I was like, oh yeah, this guy has evolved. He's evolved majorly deep into his 30s. That's like crazy. But all I saw the same Bobby Green. But he had those flashes of greatness, but nothing new. And I still think he's gonna have the same flaws, same strengths, same flaws. So good win for him. Is it a shocker to me? Not really. Did I pick him? No. Yeah, and then can I say, oh, I made such a big mistake. I gotta rip everything up and start from scratch. No, I think 90% of I'm not gonna say 90, like 70% of the times the fighter in Grant Dawson situation will win. And I feel like as far as in this matchup, I feel like 60% of the time Grant Dawson would match up against Bobby Green, especially as time moves and they get older. And Bobby Green gets 38 and Grant Dawson gets like 32 or 33. It's going to only increase the chances that Grant Dawson would win these future matchups. But yeah, or hypothetical matchup is the best way to say it. But yeah, it's not really a whole lot to draw for that one, except to say it's a good win for Bobby Green. The fight didn't really get established and come out like, oh, Grant Dawson was able to get to his wrestling because Bobby Green's takedown defense and scramble ability is so good, which it has been at times. It didn't play out in this fight to say, oh, it's this or that. But again, it would have been more of a statement necessarily, in my opinion, or at least till his future fights. As far as this fight right here, this focusing on this fight, this is about as big as it can get of a performance. But as far as trying to talk about the future and next fights, actually just having rounds sprawling on him, maybe out grappling him would have been something impressive, like stuffing his takedown, picking him apart, level changing, picking up and throwing him on the ground, and then just start buzzing him with some elbows and like a real explosive armbar setup on him, or take his back and choke him out. Well, I'm getting very exaggerated, but basically the thing would have been to really get to show growth in every single facet of the game. It doesn't have to be no explosive submission, but it could be stuffing a takedown, getting your own takedowns, landing some elbows from like half guard or something, and just showing more of your skill set at against an elite competition instead of just like a quick knockout. But yeah, good win for Bobby Green. I'll say that again. As far as Grant Dawson, I think he goes back to the drawing board, and I think he could put together another streak. they match him well. But if they just decide to say, oh, it was you got caught and try to match him against the same level of competition, it could easily just end all momentum this guy has in Grand Dawson. But take care of him right. Give him a step down, give him some stylistic matchups or whatever you need to get him back on the winning side. And no, the sky is the limit. Well, not even this guy. He's not that talented, but he could definitely breach into. I feel he definitely could be a top 10 talent or top 5 talent maybe at lightweight. But a sustained top 5 or champion, I don't see that at this weight class or really any weight class. But still a very talented fighter, one of the better fighters in this weight class. It happens. Was it lucky? It definitely was not. Bobby Green was just simply the better man on the night. But Grant Dawson could only get better and take this as a as a lesson and get better. And yeah, again, I can't really draw too much to say, oh, I could learn from this or learn from that as far as that match, because it was not a whole lot that went on in that match. It was quick and easy, and the fight was over. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But yeah, I went 6-4-1. And I guess one final thing, the parlay hit. I'll probably talk more on that in the next full card fight prediction video for the next UFC card. But yeah, the parlay hit. It had Algio on there, it had Pfeiffer on there, and it had JJ Aldrich. And the parlay hit and was a solid night for betting. Predictions were okay. Betting was better. But yeah, that's the video. Again, went 6-4-1 for the card, or 6 of 10, 60%, which is pretty decent. But it's a decent base, but you want to be above that. But if you're building a base, 60% is really good. But yeah, you want to be above that. You want to keep that as the floor, and you want to be above that. And yeah, decent card to bounce back and do better next week. And that's what I always try to do better next week. And this is a good base board to jump into next week. And that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.